Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're installing a new source for onboard air in the YJ. I think this is going to be pretty cool. This is definitely the most high-tech one I've ever had. Let's check this out. Oh. In my first YJ, I had a York compressor in it that somebody had already installed, and that was really cool. Having an air compressor that runs off of the vehicle itself is just super convenient. In that case, I had to have the engine running to, run the belt, run the compressor, and that was just a really cool option with just a switch in the cab. Well, since then, I've pretty much relied solely on a CO2 tank. Got a couple videos about building my DIY setup for that. The CO2 tank, I still think, is the best option to go with for onboard air for a number of reasons, mostly cost, portability, and the power that you get from one of those tanks. But I sold a bunch of parts, finally cleared out some of this trash out of my garage, and I thought, you know what, I should spoil myself. Let's get an ARB dual air compressor. A bunch of people are probably thinking, okay, whatever. Well, for me, that's a big item to buy, especially, it's not Christmas or anything like that. I just had the cash and I thought, let's do it. So one cool thing about the ARB dual air compressor is the duty cycle is great on it. So it can go for basically 60 minutes without needing a break in that time. So duty cycle's great. And unlike the power tank, it's part of the vehicle. It's much smaller and it's something that can run off the vehicle. It's just going to run off a battery. And the other thing is, it's usually used to operate lockers, which I'm having a lot of issues with the Spartan locker in the back of the Jeep right now. Super clunky on the road. Off-road, I can't turn it off, so it's making my turns a little bit wider radius than I want. We'll eventually get an ARB air locker for that. Who knows when I'll be able to afford that, but we're gonna have the compressor ready. So I didn't just get the dual air compressor, I got like the air up kit. It's something like that. So it comes with a couple extra things. Let's check it out. I'll show you all the parts it comes with. So open the box up, this is what it looks like. So of course you've got the big air compressor in there. It takes up the majority of the box. This is an air line that goes from the top of the compressor here to, you could use like a manifold, which I don't have just yet because I'm just gonna be using it for airing up tires right now. And then this kit also comes with, this is a little cover for where air hose attaches. Here's some 90-degree elbows, and then this is the rest of that hose coupling right here. There's like a mounting bracket, and then where you plug your air into the coupling right there. Don't know if I'm going to use that mounting bracket, but hey, it was included with this. Let's give it a shot. Probably gonna need that. Boy, is that thing shiny. Holy moly. That is the most brilliant blue I've ever seen on any part that I've gotten for a vehicle. A lot of people, when they unbox this, they say this is way bigger than they thought. This is pretty much what I was expecting. I'm not sure why everyone thinks it's gonna be so small. It's a dual, baby. All right, let's get started on this. So I think the biggest limitation for most people is where are they gonna mount this thing? You can see here I've got a bracket from Motobilt. This thing only costs like 15 bucks and it saves me a bunch of cutting and drilling, so I was like, hey, that's well worth the price. Unfortunately, these bolt holes do not line up with the ARB mounting like advertised. I'm not sure if it's a different compressor they are talking about, but you can see when I hold it up to this piece of paper, they really just don't line up with anything. It's slightly too big. But I like that they offer that option because it makes my life a lot easier. That's one less bracket I still have to make because the holes that mount to where the AC compressor would go, those ones do line up. So we'll be able to use that. All right, bent up this little bracket, nothing special. So it should mount like this to the Motobilt bracket, and then the ARB will bolt on top. Kind of like this setup because now all of the wires or hoses, anything extra can mount below in this void, and it's also gonna give me some room for the bolts. Hopefully it works. Gotta drill these things out now. So here's the bracket I built to hold my switch controller box. That just gets mounted right here. So I finally painted it. I'll start installing this and then we'll go forward with the compressor. So it's all mounted up now. It's not super secure because I don't have all the hardware on it. That's what the clearances are looking like. I do have to put a filter right there, and on the other side, doesn't look like it's gonna run into anything, but so far pretty low profile, and looks like this is just gonna work out great because the wires to control this are gonna plug into the box right here, and then I think eventually I'll have a little manifold right here so I can run a braided line right down here to the manifold, and then the manifold down to somewhere on my bumper. I'm gonna try to hook up a coupler so I can just put my gauge right there and air up all four of the tires. So I think it's worth mentioning that ARB, right in the beginning of their install instructions, mentions that you shouldn't have this compressor too close to the engine, you shouldn't mount it to the engine block, and you shouldn't put it behind the radiator. So I'm pretty close to all of those things because it is close to the engine. It's mounted to where the AC compressor would go, which is on the engine, and it is somewhat behind the radiator. So keep that in mind. This is definitely not the recommended way to do it per ARB. All right, I don't really have anything super buttoned down yet. Like my fuses are still loose, but we got the power and the negative. There was one kind of weird part down here where everything splits off for a rocker switch. It's 3 blacks of red, and then we've got red with yellow and blue with white. And these ones I think are more for illumination, so I don't need to worry about them. But I got my positive, my grounds hooked up to my switch panel because I'm not using the rocker switch. This is the main power bundle here and here, and then this is the switch bundle right there and here. Gonna try to turn it on and see how it goes because we've got our air compressor mounted. Get those out of there. This is our temporary routing just for now. It goes right in front of the radiator, down the grill right there, and then it pops out right under the winch, comes up right here. So hopefully I can just put my gauge right here and then use like a Morphlate to air up all 4, and I can just stand right here. We're gonna try to turn it on, make sure everything works, and then I'm gonna look for any leaks we might have. If everything's hooked up right, we should be able to just turn the ACC on and hit our switch panel up there. All right, Jeep's on. No smoke so far, that's good. All right, here we go. And nothing. And that's pretty dumb. I forgot to hook up all the wire plumes. So no wonder it didn't do anything. That should help. All right, power's still on. Still nothing. Take 3. Made some pretty bonehead mistakes with this wiring. First, I forgot to hook these up, and then I tried it again and it didn't work. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? Okay, so this is what we've got. This one is the power in the ground that goes directly to the battery. This one is what goes to the switches that tells this thing to activate. So if you follow this down, I didn't even have it plugged in anything. Duh. So it goes all the way down the super long loom. You have to put these blade connectors in there yourself. So I matched them up by color by what the directions said, and then these other 2, I think this is just like an accessory wire and the illumination from your dash, so don't need those. Okay, so now we have everything hooked up. Let's see if this can work out. You can see I've got the Morphlate ready. Come on, 3rd time's a charm. Ignition on. Compressor. Oh yeah, heard it that time. Okay, let's see if we've got any leaks. All right, nothing so far. On the gauge, it's showing just under 60. It's dropping because I don't have the chucks hooked up to anything, but see what it goes up to. Nice, so right around 150 where it's supposed to shut off, it's shutting off. Turn this air off, let these air down, get all the rest of the air out of there, and I'm gonna start cleaning this up in the meantime. All right, we've got the Morphlate hooked up, and you can see we're at 19.6, all 4 tires hooked up, so they've all just equalized to that. I'm gonna try to get them up to, we'll say 25. We'll keep the hood open and we'll just see how everything works. Test run, here we go. I'm gonna go turn the compressor on, then I'm gonna open that valve. We'll see how it works airing up to 25 PSI on the tires. Air compressor didn't kick on, I think because it's already pressurized. Yep. All right, almost 21. We'll let it go for a minute and we'll see how long it takes to get it up to 25. So a key part to seeing how long it takes to air up the tires is timing it, and I was just so excited I forgot to time it. I guess it took about, I don't know, 2 minutes to get it up 5 PSI from 20 PSI to 25, so pretty good. This setup works great, and Jeep is self-sufficient, so I don't have to worry about getting, you know, some sort of tank or going to the gas station and airing up. So I think if you use the switch panel that is included, the rocker switch rather, and you have like the whole panel of rocker switches, the wiring would be super easy. I thought the install overall was pretty simple. Sucks that that Motobilt plate didn't match up for me, but it's not a big deal. I just made a new one. Still need to paint it, get some new hardware for it too. And I'm looking forward to trying it out, and I'm really looking forward to getting a rear selectable ARB locker to make driving on the street and making those tight turns on the trail a lot easier. Stay tuned. One of the next videos I'm going to do, I'm going to get with some other people and we're going to compare all of the onboard air compressors. I've seen a couple videos out there that already do this. The only thing they do is they basically measure the time it takes to air the tires up. I think there's a lot more factors to it though. The cost, the convenience, the portability, of course the speed is one. What other accessories can you use with the onboard air? Stuff like that. We're gonna make a video, and now we've got the dual ARB compressor to compare, which I think this is gonna do really well in that test, judging by how fast it aired up these tires. I know it was only 5 PSI, but these are 38s. I thought it was pretty decent. Anyways guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you wanna see any of these parts, maybe look at getting some of them for yourself, look down in the description. I'll put the links down there to all of that stuff. Thanks for checking out, guys. See you in the next one.